1. The privacy calculus. In our modern digital economy, personal data is the new oil, and a social media post is a voluntary drilling operation on your own land. Most people accept this transaction. They trade a photo of their vacation, their wedding, or their lunch for a specific social and neurological payout, likes, comments, and the dopamine hit of connection. This trade-off is known as the privacy calculus. We all perform this calculation, often unconsciously. We weigh the perceived benefits of sharing against the perceived risks of exposure. The average user's calculation is simple. Benefit of feeling connected greater than risk of, well, who cares? But the person who never posts is running a completely different set of numbers. Their calculation has a new variable: data sovereignty. This isn't just privacy in the old-fashioned sense of keeping secrets. It's privacy in the 21st century sense of retaining ownership. They understand that a photo posted online is no longer just a photo. It's a data point. It's a biometric signature for facial recognition algorithms. It's a permanent entry in a digital dossier they don't control. Their privacy calculus isn't about hiding. It's about a profound, almost rebellious desire for self-ownership. They have intuitively, or explicitly, decided that the momentary satisfaction of a like is a laughably poor price for a permanent, non-revocable sale of a piece of their life. This isn't to say they're paranoid. In fact, in many cases, they're simply more clear-eyed. They see the platform not as a town square, but what it truly is: a data mining operation disguised as a town square. While others are busy performing for the crowd, these individuals are sitting in the back reading the terms and conditions. They value their mental space, as the competitor script notes, but it's deeper. They value their digital space. They refuse to be a free content supplier for a multi-billion-dollar corporation's ad targeting machine. They're not antisocial. They are, in a very real sense, anti-exploitation. 2. Rock-solid identity. Psychology has a fantastic term for a very simple idea: self-concept clarity. It's a measure of how clearly, confidently, and consistently you define yourself. Someone with high self-concept clarity has a strong internal compass. If you ask them who they are, what they value, and what they believe, they can give you a coherent answer. Their sense of self is stable. Someone with low self-concept clarity is in a state of flux. Their identity is fuzzy, contradictory, and highly dependent on external feedback. They are, in essence, figuring themselves out on the fly. Social media is a brutal environment for those with low self-concept clarity, but it's also an addictive one. If you don't know who you are, you post a photo to find out. You externalize the question: who am I? What do you think of this version of me? The cascade of likes, comments, and DMs becomes a temporary, crowdsourced identity. The photo acts as a feeler, a probe sent out into the social void to bring back data on me. This is why a post that flops can feel so devastating to some. It's not just a failed post, it's a failed self. The chronic non-poster, by contrast, is often operating from a position of high self-concept clarity. They simply do not need the external mirror because they have a high-resolution internal one. Their identity is not a question they are asking the world, it's a statement they're living. They already know their values. They already know what they're good at. They already know who loves them. This inner security is not a passive state, it's an active achievement. They have done the difficult, internal work of integration, of sorting through their own contradictions and arriving at a stable self. Because their identity is internally generated, it is also internally validated. The act of posting a photo to seek approval is to them not just unnecessary, it's illogical. Why ask 1,000 strangers for a truth you already possess? Their happiness is not dependent on the reaction to their life, because they are too busy with the living of it. This isn't arrogance, it's completeness. They don't need to be seen by the algorithm to feel seen by the people who genuinely matter in their non-digital life. 3. Secure self-esteem. This is one of the deepest cuts. Much of our adult behavior, especially in social and relational contexts, is a direct echo of our earliest attachment bonds. Attachment theory, pioneered by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, posits that our first relationships form a blueprint for how we expect the world to treat us. To vastly oversimplify, a secure attachment develops when a child learns that they are safe, valued, and that their needs will be met. This secure base allows them to explore the world with confidence. An insecure attachment, anxious or avoidant, develops when this bond is inconsistent and the child learns that love and validation are conditional. They must be earned, fought for, or are simply not to be trusted. Now, map this onto social media. Social media is a global 24/7 engine for contingent self-esteem. Your worth is contingent on your last post. Your attractiveness is contingent on your likes. Your social standing is contingent on your follower count. This system is tailor-made for those with an anxious, insecure attachment style. It mimics their childhood blueprint. I must perform and be liked to receive the validation I crave. They are constantly checking both their phone and the social temperature to see if they are still okay. The secure non-poster is playing a different game. Their self-esteem is not contingent. It is, to a large degree, non-contingent. Their sense of self-worth is a utility, not a stock price. It's a baseline, a given, a fact. They derive it from their own competence, their moral code, and a small, curated circle of real high-bandwidth relationships. Because they are secure in their base, they feel no compulsion to perform for the validation of the digital crowd. They are not less anxious or less approval-seeking as the competitor script says. They are differently anxious and differently approval-seeking. They seek approval from their boss on a major project. They seek approval from their partner in a deep conversation. They seek approval from themselves when they look in the mirror. They have aimed their need for validation at targets that are difficult, meaningful, and real, rather than scattering it like birdshot across a digital feed. 4. Internal locus of control. In the 1960s, psychologist Julian Rotter developed a groundbreaking concept, the locus of control. It describes where you believe power resides in your life. People with an external locus of control believe their lives are dictated by outside forces, luck, fate, circumstance, powerful other people. Things happen to me. People with an internal locus of control believe their lives are dictated by their own actions, choices, and efforts. I make things happen. This is a profound psychological divide, and it maps perfectly onto the behavior of the non-poster. Social media at its core is a broadcast system for an external locus of control. The entire platform is built on the reaction of others. Its primary emotional currency is envy. You post to show what has happened to you. The beautiful sunset, the fancy meal, the new car. You are passively presenting a life artifact for the judgment of the external world. The person with a strong internal locus of control finds this entire paradigm unsatisfying. They are deep thinkers, yes, but more accurately, they are deep actors. They are defined by their agency. They are the producers of their own lives, not the consumers of validation. They are busy writing the book, building the business, running the marathon, or learning a skill. By the time the thing is done, they are already on to the next project. The act of stopping, framing, and posting the thing feels like a distraction from the real work. Their standards are, as the contender script notes, internal. They judge themselves. This makes them their own harshest critic, but also their own most reliable source of praise. They prefer authentic, high-bandwidth conversations because that is where real agency happens. The exchange of ideas, the formation of plans, the building of relationships. Superficial interactions are a waste of their most precious resource, the time and energy they could be using to act in the world. They're not show-offs because the show is the least interesting part of the process. 5. Peace over performance. Sociologist Erving Goffman in 1959 gave us the perfect metaphor for social life, dramaturgy. He argued that we are all actors on a stage. We have a front stage self, the curated, polite, professional version we show the public, and a backstage T, the real, messy, relaxed version we only show to those we trust. Social media did not invent this. It merely digitized it, globalized it, and put it on steroids. A social media profile is the ultimate front stage, a meticulously crafted performance of a life that is always happy, beautiful, and successful. But this performance is exhausting. This is dramaturgical exhaustion. The pressure to constantly maintain the front stage, to manage impressions, to respond to the audience, and to never ever let the mask slip is an immense psychological burden. The non-poster, in many cases, is simply someone who has looked at this burden and said, "No, thank you." They are suffering from no digital illusion. They see the illusion for exactly what it is, a performance, and they are choosing to opt out. They choose peace over performance not because they are saints, but because they are strategists. They are protecting their finite mental energy. They understand that every ounce of energy spent on front stage management is energy not spent on their backstage life, their real career, their real family, their real thoughts. They understand what Goffman called role distance, the gap between their performing self and their authentic self. For the social media superuser, that gap can become a source of profound anxiety. For the non-poster, they have solved the problem by simply refusing to mount the play. They are in effect off-Broadway, or more accurately, not in the theater at all. They are in the real world, unscripted and unlit, and that is exactly where they want to be. 6. They love to think. Psychologists use the term need for cognition, or NFC, to describe a personality trait reflecting the extent to which individuals are inclined towards effortful cognitive activities. Put simply, these are people who like to think. They enjoy solving complex problems, pondering abstract ideas, and processing information deeply. They would rather solve a riddle than watch a sitcom. They would rather read a dense history book than skim a listicle. Social media, by design, is a low NFC environment. It is engineered for the cognitive miser, the part of our brain that wants to conserve energy by taking mental shortcuts. The platform rewards fast consumption, not deep processing. The infinite scroll is the literal physical manifestation of this. It's a system designed to bypass your higher-order thinking and hook your brainstem directly with a stream of quick-hit novelties. The dopamine of a like is fleeting, simple, and requires almost zero cognitive effort. The non-poster, who is often high in NFC, finds this entire ecosystem to be deeply, fundamentally boring. It's not nourishing. It's the cognitive equivalent of junk food. A like doesn't offer the same rich, delayed gratification satisfaction as, say, finally understanding a complex theorem, mastering a difficult piece of music, or finishing a long-term project. These individuals don't post because the rewards of the system are, to them, not rewarding. They are seeking a different, more complex dopamine that is tied to mastery, understanding, and effort. The simple like just doesn't make the cut. 7. Future or past focused. This is a subtle but powerful point. Temporal focus is a concept from time perspective therapy, pioneered by psychologists like Philip Zimbardo. It argues that our personalities are heavily influenced by our default mental time zone. Are you a past-oriented person, constantly replaying memories, holding on to nostalgia and grudges? Are you a present hedonistic person, living entirely for the now, seeking immediate pleasure and avoiding effort? Or are you a future-oriented person, always planning, setting goals, and living for a someday that is just over the horizon? Social media is, almost exclusively, a present hedonistic platform. Its entire logic is, what are you doing right now? Look at what's happening this instant. The story feature, which vanishes in 24 hours, is the apex of this enforced present tense. The person who posts constantly is, by necessity, hyper-focused on capturing the present moment. The chronic non-poster often has a different temporal focus. They may be future-oriented. They are planners, builders, and strategists. They are working on a 5-year plan. They are in graduate school. They are saving for a house. Their mental energy is occupied with building a future, which makes the act of documenting the present seem trivial. Why post a picture of your coffee when you're busy architecting a career? The now is just a stepping stone to the next, and the next is where their mind lives. Alternatively, they may be past-oriented, not in a negative way, but in a reflective, nostalgic way. They may be history buffs, writers, or just deeply sentimental people. They find a richness in their memories. They are slow processors of their own lives. For them, an experience isn't real until it's been processed, reflected upon, and integrated into their life's narrative. The idea of live posting an event is horrifying. It's a violation of this sacred incubation period that an experience needs to become a meaningful memory. In either case, their mind is simply not in the now, and so they have nothing to offer the platform that demands it. 8. Masters of boundaries. We often talk about privacy as a legal or digital concept, but in psychology, boundaries are an emotional and energetic construct. A person with healthy boundaries understands where they end and another person begins. They understand that they are responsible for their own feelings, and other people are responsible for theirs. They are, in effect, the sovereign rulers of their own internal emotional state. A social media post is a deliberate, conscious dissolving of that boundary. It is an open-cast invitation for the entire world, friends, family, ex-partners, future employers, and algorithm-driven bots to enter your psychological space. It is a request for judgment. Here is my life, my face, my child, my accomplishment. Please, form an opinion. The non-poster looks at this transaction and sees it as a catastrophic breach of their own emotional security. They are not shy or antisocial. They are in fact so socially aware that they understand the true cost of this invitation. They are unwilling to let the unformed, unfiltered opinions of hundreds of people dictate their mood. They are owning their own weather. They refuse to have a good day ruined by a passive-aggressive comment from an acquaintance, or a bad day made worse by seeing someone else's performative best life. This isn't weakness. It's an incredible, disciplined strength. This boundary setting also applies to giving energy. By not posting, they are also opting out of the obligation to constantly monitor and react to others' posts. They are reclaiming the social energy that most people spend keeping up with hundreds of low-stakes, front-stage performances. They redirect that powerful, finite energy into a handful of backstage relationships, the real, messy, high-bandwidth connections that actually matter. They are, in short, emotional minimalists. 9. Person, not a product. We live in the age of the personal brand. The line between a self and a brand has been deliberately blurred. We are all told to be the CEO of Me Inc. We are encouraged to see our lives, our opinions, and even our faces as assets to be managed, marketed, and monetized. Your social media profile is your brand identity, and every post is a piece of content marketing, an ad for the product of you. The person who doesn't post their photo often has a powerful allergic reaction to this entire concept. They are not necessarily deep thinkers, fact 4, or high NFC, fact 6. They are simply authentic. They have a core identity that they find to be complex, sacred, or at the very least private. The idea of branding this identity, of sanding it down, simplifying it, putting a filter on it, and marketing it for social or professional gain feels to them like a gross violation. It feels, in a word, inauthentic. This is a quiet, radical act of self-possession. It is a refusal to commodify the self. While the world screams at them to build their brand and network, they're content to simply be. Their self-worth is not a stock price that rises and falls with public perception. It is a stable, non-negotiable asset. They are not interested in having fans or followers. They are interested in having friends and colleagues. They operate on the radical, old-fashioned belief that their worth should be demonstrated through their character, their actions, and their work, not through a curated gallery of smiling JPEGs. They have, in essence, chosen to be a person, not a product. 10. Addicted to flow. This is perhaps the most important psychological reason of all. In the 1970s, psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi defined a concept he called flow. A flow state, or being in the zone, is a state of total immersive absorption in an activity. Your sense of self, your sense of time, and your internal critic all vanish. You are fully, completely, and joyfully present in the doing of the thing. It is the peak of human experience. You can be in flow while painting, writing code, playing basketball, or even having a life-changing conversation. Here is the crucial, devastating insight. The act of documenting an experience is the enemy of experiencing it. The flow state and the capture state are mutually exclusive. The instant you stop experiencing the concert to pull out your phone, you have broken the flow. The instant you stop genuinely listening to your friend to think this would make a good story post, you have broken the flow. The instant you stop savoring the perfect meal to find the right camera angle, you have broken the flow. The chronic non-poster is not just private or boundary conscious, as in Fact 8. They are flow junkies. They are addicted to the experience of life, not the record of it. They have unconsciously or consciously decided that the richness of the experience itself is more valuable to them than the shallow digital artifact of that experience. They are unwilling to sacrifice the depth of the now for the breadth of a share. They are not shy. They are not antisocial. They are, in fact, the opposite. They are so social and so engaged with the world that they find the interruption of the digital lens to be a rude, unacceptable distraction from the profound, immersive, and fleeting beauty of reality itself. They don't post pictures of their life because for them, a picture is not worth 1,000th of the words, the sights, the sounds, and the feelings of the moment they would have to sacrifice to take it.